the low to mid 70s. Mainly clear sky tonight, and overnight low will settle back in the upper 40s to near 50. Lots of sunshine, mid to upper 70s on Wednesday, and then Thursday, lots of sunshine. Our high temperatures near 85. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
Radio station
KERX Paris Fort Smith from the Bush and Bushlight Studios. This is ESPN 95.3.
Good morning, Vietnam!
Broadcasting live from the Bud Light Studio.
I love Arkansas! I love everything here! Give me that thing here! Woo!
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Why did that happen in Fayetteville, Arkansas?
Dixon Street. It'll get you.
Streaming live from
Hit that line.
.com.
You want answers! I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
This is Halftime.
Man, that ball got out of here in a hurry.
With Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Phil, you're one of the best baseball announcers in the country, and Ty, you're one of the best up-and-coming young talents in the broadcasting industry. You really do your homework.
See ya! D-Mac! Hold on, Matt Ryan! D-Mac not looking back. Touchdown! How about that Heisman, Mark Jones? How do you like it? Wide open again.
All right, hold on. It's almost halftime.
Something new here on a Tuesday in week. I can't remember what week this is for the length of our show, Ty. I think it's like the 57th week of halftime, and you've been doing the live video cast, whatever you want to call it, for a few months now. But finally, I've been animated. I've been enlivened. You can see me now finally on this Twitter video, the Facebook video, the YouTube video. Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in today. Phil Elson here, Ty Richardson of the ESPN Arkansas studios. And finally, Ty, I am my mouth moves when I speak. It's the first time we've done this, so I'm taking a little direction. I had to turn off the ceiling fan because of we don't want to throw off our listeners too much. We want them to be firmly focused on the things that we are saying, not the stuff going on in the background. So as you look at Ty Richardson in the ESPN Arkansas studios, it's nice and quiet and still around him. You can watch every movement of his eyes, every blink of the eyelids, every movement of the lip muscles. And I guess you can do the same with me. So nice to have some new things here as our show continues to grow and continues to develop and mature, which I guess says more about the show than it does about the hosts. How you doing today, Ty?
Maturity is not something we strive in, Phil. It's more something we struggle with, right? And I think that's what makes our show so unique is that we've got a 42-year-old man and a 24-year-old child, and we both have the same sense of humor, the same sense of just funniness to us, I guess, that makes us so endearing to our listeners, right?
Right, yeah. Let's pump ourselves up a little bit more here. And some questionable decision-making in the process.
Yeah, that too.
What'd you stay up watching last night? Did you stay up watching Major League Playoffs, Yankees, Twins, or did you stay up watching your boy Baker Mayfield get plowed by the San Francisco 49ers?
Baker looked awful. That whole team looked awful. I don't know why I thought it was a wise idea to draft Odell Beckham Jr. over Michael Thomas. It's irritating, and I'm not a diehard Browns fan, but I did like the mentality and the swagger that they came into the season with. But as you so wisely predicted, and again, it hasn't come to full fruition to this point because it's only 5 weeks through the NFL season, but this looks like a train wreck for a team that a lot of people predicted were going to be a lot farther ahead than they are at this point, Phil.
Yeah, and you know what? Overall, the AFC North is like it's the NFL's version of college football's ACC Coastal. You know, where even the team that finishes atop the standings is going to be maybe slightly better than mediocre. So, yeah, not the greatest football to watch. Good day of baseball yesterday, and I'm very happy to say that we do have baseball remaining for the rest of the week. So you didn't have all 4 teams that had a chance to clinch do so. As Tampa Bay lives another day, so does St. Louis, and so do the Nationals. And the only clinch was done by the New York Yankees as they continue their domination against the Twins, which now I think it's 16-2 is the Yankees' postseason record against Minnesota. All of those postseason games occurring over the last 17 years. Boy, it must be rough to be a Twins fan today. But as we are in a game week for Arkansas football, we've got kind of a dual-purpose couple of segments here. One looking at a positive thing, and the question would be why Arkansas will win at least one conference game the rest of the way. You're already 0-2, so there are 6 games remaining here in SEC play, and Arkansas still hasn't played a home game against an SEC team yet. In fact, you only have 2 on the schedule, of course, and those are Auburn next week and Mississippi State the 2nd of November. So you do have the home game against Missouri, but of course that's in Little Rock's War Memorial Stadium. So our question here is why will Arkansas win at least one conference game? And then in the next segment, we're going to go on the other side of things and ask the question, why would Arkansas lose every conference game the rest of the way? Now, Ty, I remember making a prediction, man, it must have been about a year ago, that it seemed to me that Arkansas was going to lose every conference game. I know I'd said that in the month of October. I don't exactly remember the day or the week that I said it, but you had the sense that things just were not going to go very well for the Arkansas Razorbacks. Maybe I'd thought that after the loss to Texas A&M the week before, got smoked by Auburn by 31 points. But either way, I mean, it proved to be correct, and I don't think I was the only person in the month of October early last year that thought this. I still think right now Arkansas will win at least one conference game. And, I mean, here's one of the reasons why I think that, Ty. It's because of this Saturday's opponent. I think the Kentucky Wildcats are extremely vulnerable. They are still trying to figure out whether transfer quarterback Sawyer Smith will be available to play. I mean, he is as banged up as you can be while still being counted as a potential play for the weekend. He's dealing with 3 different injuries. Their defense hasn't been as good as it was last year, not even close. They got to rely on the run game. Arkansas might have a chance to just stop them there. They're struggling in the pass game. So, I mean, really, out of all the factors right now, and, I mean, there are some of these factors go into why Arkansas's got a chance against Kentucky that don't have anything to do with the Wildcats. But, I mean, my first reason why Arkansas will win a conference game is because of who the next opponent is. And it's Kentucky, and I just don't think Kentucky is a very good football team right now.
Yeah, they seem ripe for the picking, is a term that my dad often used. This is a football team that doesn't have a lot of talent based on what they lost last year. And I know that they still have that talent edge over Arkansas, but this is going to be one of the lesser opponents in the SEC they got a good chance at. We talked about the emotion in this game, but there's some positives you can take out of Arkansas as well, and they're going to be kind of flying in to that football game in Lexington, hopefully with the same focus, the same mentality that they had against Texas A&M, but then they can finally close one out. And, Phil, as you know, anything can happen in college football. That's part of it. You think about all the misfortune that Arkansas has had these last couple years. Maybe something will bounce their way this year. Maybe a turn of luck, a turn of the tide will help Arkansas get a win. And if it's not Kentucky this week, there's not a lot of openness that you can look at down the stretch where it's, oh, there's going to be their conference win. There's going to be their conference win. This is a game probably, if you look at the remaining of the schedule, that they have the best chance to win based on the performances of the other conference's opponent remaining on their schedule, Phil.
You know, I mean, the other game that you might look to would be Mississippi State. Potentially Missouri. I know we've said that from the start of the season, and now Missouri losing their top defensive player, linebacker Cale Garrett, to a torn pectoral muscle for the rest of the season. So he won't be available on Black Friday. Still in all, with Mississippi State starting a freshman quarterback that began the season on the bench. It's a team that can really run the ball. Although, you know, the last game against Auburn, they had a lot of trouble doing so. And otherwise, it's Kentucky. And so why do you think Arkansas's got a good chance to beat Kentucky? Well, here's one reason why, and it's that your freshmen, I mean, you got 5 freshmen that are in the starting lineup and a few more that are getting regular action. I know that Chad Morris said that they expect to put Jalen Catalon in probably this week. So another true freshman getting some playing time at a position you're already having some issues at in the secondary. Catalon is safety. But the freshmen are getting better. I mean, Mateo Soli showed a lot the last game against Texas A&M. He might be getting that club off of his hands, so potentially him. Your wide receivers, your freshman wide receivers, they've played well as freshmen for their first 5 games, and you can only imagine Trey Knox and Traylon Burks will continue to get better, especially Knox as he looks healthy and is going to be available to practice all week long. So, I mean, one of the reasons why you are 2-3 right now is that you're such a young and inexperienced team. But, by this point of the season and by the end of October, I mean, they're not really freshmen anymore. Now you've had a couple of months, and sure, you're still a freshman, but I mean, a lot of these guys have been in school for the last year, and you get 6 or 7 games in there, you're going to get a cut. You're really no longer a freshman. So I would put that in the category too. What else do you have?
I mean, the freshman is a big impact. You think about just the motivation factor; it has to tie in at some point. There's that. If you're not motivated at this point, Phil, you gotta be. Like, this team has to be motivated, whether it's weekend or not. You gotta be motivated at this point.
All right, well, we want to know what you think about why Arkansas will win at least one conference game. The Cherokee Casino hotline is open at 877-377-6963. That's good for a call or good for a text. And we'll continue on some of the positive things in the next segment. We've also got some reasons why Arkansas will lose every conference game the rest of the way. So stick around. We'll run through all of that here on Halftime on a Tuesday on ESPN Arkansas. HitThatLine.com.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson. Follow them on Twitter at Phil Elson PXP and at Ty Sports Radio. This is the Morning Rush.
It's just amazing that when Eric Musselman is in front of the media or in front of the fans, now we got to see what he's like. See him in that coach's role, to see how vocal he was, to see how detail-oriented he seemed to be with just the small things, like, for instance, calling a timeout because his team wasn't lined up correctly on the free throw line. I mean, that's the type of thing that you like to see if you're a Razorback basketball fan.
Don't miss the Morning Rush. Weekdays from 6 till 9. Only on ESPN 95.3.
Full-time farmers, hobby farmers, and landowners, your time is important. Make the most out of that time with a brand new Branson tractor from Bush Machine and Tractor in Fort Smith. With tractors from 19 to 105 horsepower, we have a tractor that will fit your needs. Ask Bush Machine and Tractor about their special financing options and free loader rebates. Bush Machine and Tractor in Fort Smith is Arkansas's #1 Branson dealer. Check their inventory at bushtractor.com.
Want to do something scary? Really scary? It's Magic Screams at Magic Springs, the scare capital of Arkansas. 3 haunted attractions, including the new Carnival #9 in 3D. Ride wicked thrill rides in the dark. Plus, fun for kids means family fun by day, fright by night. September 28th through November 3rd. Park opens at noon. Magic Screams at Magic Springs, the scare capital of Arkansas. Buy discount tickets online for big savings.
Tri-Hill Turf offers the highest quality turf and pest services. Hey, you say those are big words. Well, let's see. Tri-Hill Turf and Pest has a company agronomist, state and nationally certified technicians, free soil testing, and they even have precision GPS guided application equipment. Now that's high tech. For over 30 years, Tri-Hill Turf and Pest has used the latest application technology, and they strive for turf and pest excellence. They are your local turf and pest experts. Call the local team at 782-0404. Tri-Hill Turf and Pest.
Spring is in the air. Not in the house, Dalton. Okay, AJ. Aw, snap, I told you not in the house. Red Kool-Aid all over the white carpet. Mom and Dad are gonna... Okay, AJ. I can't believe it. We're so in trouble. I told you so.
Thank you for calling Service Master Clean. This is Tanya. How can I help you?
Tanya, it's Dalton. For the clean you expect and the service you deserve. Think Service Master Clean. Visit us online at smcleanonline.com.
Got a mystery stain on the carpet and the kids insist they don't know what it is? Or you're just ready to give the house a good spring cleaning? Call Service Master Clean at 646-4087. Call today for spring specials.
Service Master Clean. For the clean you expect and the service you deserve. It's okay, AJ.
60 is not that old, but when you're talking about a business, 60 proves you have the ability to keep your customers happy and change with the times. Guardtronic is celebrating their 60th year in business. Founded in 1959, Guardtronic has been securing homes all over the area for 60 years. Give them a call anytime. There's always someone there to get a free quote for securing your home. 785-2323 or guardtronic.com. Happy birthday, Guardtronic. License E050.
Hey, Fort Smith, the Hampton Inn by Hilton was ranked in the top 10 Hampton hotels in the U.S., and their devotion to top-notch hospitality shows. With complimentary Wi-Fi, a free hot breakfast, and all of the bells and whistles you would expect, this newly renovated hotel has it all. They offer Hilton's digital key technology, meeting spaces, an indoor pool, and sports court. Hampton Inn by Hilton gives you everything you need for business or leisure travel. Give them a call at 479-452-2000 and see for yourself why the Hampton Inn is Fort Smith's best hotel.
ESPN 95.3. Touchdown! Halftime is brought to you by Supercuts, who supports local teams. Supercuts. We're super into the movement.
Yeah, they got it going on.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Whaley. Wow. Walks into the end zone. And I mean walks into the end zone. Touchdown, Razorbacks.
Back here on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. I fired up those Cardinals fans, Ty. Tweeted my opinion that Yadier Molina is not the greatest Cardinal of all time. Even with a throat slash and a bat flip and a game-winning sacrifice fly and all of his caught stealings over the last 16 years or so in the 2 World Championships and all the Gold Gloves and All-Star appearances. I saw a couple people put it on the Twitter machine yesterday that they think Yadier Molina is the greatest Cardinal of all time. And actually, you can make an argument that he might not quite be the greatest Cardinal catcher of all time. A guy named Ted Simmons in the 70s actually was a much better hitter than Molina, not as equal defensively. Anyway, that's something we can get into later on. But I fired up Cardinal fans, Ty, just by saying something about favored son Yadier Molina. I'll continue to do that probably because it's fun to gin the Cardinal fans up. You know, and I was a little bit torn yesterday watching that Braves-Cardinals game because my instinct is to root against St. Louis, but my other instinct is for every series in the postseason to go as long as it possibly can. You know, I usually don't root for teams this time of the year. I might root against a couple of teams, but more than anything, I'm just about having as much baseball, as much postseason baseball as you can possibly get on television. So I guess it's good to see St. Louis win it because that Braves-St. Louis series has been so entertaining. I mean, some really dramatic last inning, not just late inning, but last inning finishes. So I'm excited about what they'll do tomorrow in the winner-takes-all Game 5. All right, so our question going into the break was, why will Arkansas win a conference game the rest of the way? Justin in Van Buren texted in on the Cherokee Casino hotline saying they only win a conference game if a conference team beats themselves. So, you know, I mean, maybe you could say that no matter who it is, that, you know, when it comes to a football game, one team just might play really poorly and beat themselves more than anything else. But I think you make a good point. I mean, if you got any shot against Auburn, any shot at all, I mean, that less than 1% chance that ESPN's FPI gives Arkansas against Alabama, even Mississippi State, certainly against LSU with the offense, with LSU's strength and Arkansas's weakness, no doubt. Yeah, you're gonna need a couple of those teams to play pretty poorly for Arkansas to maybe even hang with a couple of them. Jeff in Greenwood lets me know that when you're a Pirates fan, you don't have a team to root for this time of the year. Yes, Jeff, I am very well aware of that. Very well aware of that. And that's why that's exactly why I root for the series to go as long as it can. If there was a Pirates series, I'd be rooting for a Pittsburgh sweep. But it doesn't happen. So, yeah, I'm a selfish baseball fan. I'll root against teams that I don't like, and I will root for every series to go as long as it possibly can. All right, I had a couple other reasons why I think Arkansas wins a conference game, Ty. See what you think here. The defense does create some havoc. I mean, Arkansas has sacked the quarterback 15 times and have taken the ball away 10 times this year. It's an average of 2 takeaways per game. So, I think the defense, plus they've, scored, 3 touchdowns defensively?
Yeah.
I think there's an opportunity for Arkansas to potentially win a game because of a couple of things: sacking the quarterback, knocking the ball loose, and picking it up and potentially scoring on that play.
So the punting hasn't been great for Arkansas, and that unfortunately hurts the defense. Sam Loy and a little bit of Blake Johnson early this season, the averages have not been great, but the defense has stood strong in certain situations and melted and fallen apart of others. You hope that over time the defense just gets a little bit better. I don't necessarily see that happening down the stretch because of some of the destructive offenses they face, including LSU and Alabama and even Auburn to some extent, who's known to just run ragged over Arkansas. So we'll see if they're able to stand tall against some of these tougher offenses. But I think it's a part of the fact that John Chavis is a little more comfortable in year 2, Phil, the fact that he's calling more blitzes, going after, just like every other coach is typically in year 2 compared to where year 1 you feel a little more comfortable with the players you have on campus, the designs, the play calls, and all like that. So I think that's the situation that he's in right now.
Eric in Hot Springs says, hopefully we can beat someone we're not supposed to. Well, that's everybody. That's everybody left on the schedule that's not a Western Kentucky Hilltopper. Let's see what Tanner in Champaign thinks about this upcoming game. Hi, Tanner. You're on halftime.
How we doing, guys?
Doing great. What's up?
So I'm thinking this week is probably kind of where the season hangs. Like, you got to win this weekend to win a conference game. You got after Kentucky, you got the Auburn game, and they're going to come in after taking a bad loss to LSU, Florida. And, they're going to be coming in. They're probably going to beat us. And you got to play Alabama. You got to go to Alabama. So if you lose this weekend, you're looking at 2-6 going in at home against Mississippi State. And I think that's your other best shot just because with all the probation and everything that's gone on with the Mississippi State football program. But at best, I'm taking a 5-7 season with a win over Western Kentucky, Mississippi State, and Kentucky. And that's my best hope on the season. But I think if you go 5-7, win 2 conference games there, and beat Western Kentucky, I'll feel pretty good going on with the program. But I'll hang up and listen.
Tanner, I think it's pretty realistic. And, boy, if you end up – and I think Kentucky and Mississippi State are ripe for the picking for Arkansas. But if that happens, if you fall 1 win short of a bowl game, you're already looking at the San Jose State game as one you'd like to kick the dog about, and there's another reason to do so. Wow, if the San Jose State game is the one that keeps you from a bowl game, wouldn't that be something to behold?
I just have a feeling that's not going to be the one that keeps you from a bowl game. It's going to be the numerous others that you don't win that keeps you from a bowl game, Phil.
Robert in Fort Smith is on the Cherokee Casino hotline. Robert, want to talk some baseball? What's up?
I have to blame you, Phil, for jinxing me yesterday, buddy.
How's that? What did I do?
Okay, you made the comment about, we might not have baseball till Friday. I hate the Cardinals, so I was all excited for the Braves. They were winning, and then my Dodgers, we just fell apart, but that could be expected after the bats on the night before. But when you said that, then all of a sudden, all the things fell apart yesterday. Now we've got baseball till Friday instead of, being off.
Well, thank goodness for that, to be honest. And, I don't know if the Dodgers necessarily fell apart as much as Max Scherzer just was finally Max Scherzer. And Ryan Zimmerman coming out of nowhere to be Ryan Zimmerman from a number of years ago. So, yeah, and hey, I don't have a team. I don't have a dog in the fight. I've been reminded of that by who was it? Jeff in Greenwood. So, yeah, it's the truth. I'm just rooting for long series. If you got a team to root for, I know you're a Dodgers fan. You still have an edge, by the way, in the fifth and deciding game. Robert, I think Walker Buehler, and as good as Steven Strasburg is, Buehler is a Cy Young Award winner in waiting. He looked great in the last game. I'd give the Dodgers the edge in Game 5, not just because they're playing at home.
Well, we need the bats to come alive, and if they'll come alive like they did, we'll be fine. But, both series, both games for Wednesday are going to be great. Atlanta, Cardinals are going to Atlanta. They're coming back to Los Angeles. So if you are like you are, you got some great baseball to watch. So have a good one, guys.
I appreciate you, Robert. Yeah, today you get the Astros and the Rays Game 4, Houston leading 2-1, and then tomorrow 2 Game 5s in the National League starting at 4 o'clock. It's appointment television for me, Ty, and hopefully I've been able to convince you that it could be appointment television for you.
I'm not going to lie, Phil, and this is going to break your heart. I might watch a little bit of the championship series, but I probably won't be locked in until the World Series. I think I've told you that before. I just haven't as much tuned into it as much as maybe a lot of other baseball fans. I don't know. Just the World Series is always intriguing to me, and maybe a little bit of the championship series. But maybe I'll change my mind and flip that game on tonight.
Well, tomorrow we do change my mind tomorrow. That's our Wednesday segment. So I know exactly what I'm going to try to change your mind about.
All right, buddy.
It's good to already have my prep done for tomorrow's show. All right, so we've went through some reasons why Arkansas will win a conference game. So what about the other thing? What about the idea that they'll lose every conference game the rest of the way?
Red zone deficiencies.
Yeah.
When you are 13th in the SEC on defense and then last in the conference on offense in terms of scoring touchdowns, that doesn't bode well. You have to be able to hold. You got to bend but not break in the red zone when you're on defense, and you got to put the sucker in the end zone or at least get a field goal on offense. But 45% for touchdown conversions in the red zone this year, that's horrendous. I mean, this is already a team that doesn't get that many chances based on where their offense is at. So the chances you do get, you got to stick it in there, man. You got to stick that thing in the end zone. And they just haven't been able to do that. They did against Colorado State, were efficient there. But really since then, Phil, it's been a disaster.
And too many interceptions overall. A lot of those interceptions coming inside the red zone. So just better decision-making by whomever your quarterback is. It's going to be Nick Starkel this Saturday. But if he's ineffective, and the way Ben Hicks looked against Texas A&M, potentially get a move. Punting's been bad. Arkansas, one of the worst in the country in punting. That's one area where Kentucky's got an edge. And really, you got a couple of offenses that are struggling to score at times. Punting's going to come into play this Saturday for the 6:30 kickoff, plus too many missed tackles by Arkansas in the secondary. Those are some reasons why we think Arkansas may end up losing every game the rest of the way. Hopefully that doesn't happen for a second year in a row. Halftime brought to you by our friends at Breeden RV in Van Buren, where they're having their year-end clearance sale right now. Great deals on new RVs, travel trailers that start at $99.95, and fifth wheels that start under $30,000. Of course, Breeden RV is the only dealer that gives new customers maintenance for life for free. Plus a great selection of pre-camp trailers and RVs to choose from. Let Breeden RV in Van Buren how easy it can be. Breeden RV, home of the maintenance for life. We'll come back with Nikki Chavanel from Rivals after the break on ESPN Arkansas.
Don't spend life sitting on your hands. You're listening to Halftime.
Now is the time to book your fundraising and corporate golf outings for 2019 at Eagle Crest Golf Course. Call Eagle Crest now before all the best dates are gone. 479-632-8857. Eagle Crest Golf Course, voted best of the best golf course 2 years in a row. Let their staff take care of everything, from help with your tournament as well as food and beverage service. If you're looking for a place to host your corporate or charity event this year, call Eagle Crest Golf Course. 479-632-8857.
We've invented a new messaging system using the crisp sounds of Bud Light. Crisp Code. Lesson 42. This is how you say happy hour. It's happy hour. Let's go get some Bud Lights. That's it for today.
Brewed with no corn syrup. Bud Light. Crisp. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer. Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Metal Direct offers high-quality prefabricated metal buildings, metal roofing, custom trim shops, carports, and more. They strive to be a company where contractors as well as do-it-yourselfers are welcome. Metal Direct assists you in calculating the materials needed to complete your project, all at a rate you can afford. Stop by their location at 7420 Inmar Drive in Little Rock, one block off University behind Napa Auto Parts, or call them at 501-562-3112. Metal Direct, the right material for the right price.
Joe's Grill and Cantina is the only only place to watch the Hogs. Watch every game at Joe's. Enjoy half-price apps and taps during the game. And with TVs all around the restaurant, you'll have a front row seat. Half-price appetizers like brisket nachos, Mexican pizza, 10-layer dip, or Joe's humongous sampler platter. All half price. And all beers on tap are half price. Watch every Hog game at Joe's. Half-price apps and taps during every Hog game at Joe's Grill and Cantina, 3400 South 74th Street across from Harps.
Littleton's Paintless Dent Repair is your one-stop shop for all repairs. Paintless Dent Repair, door dings, unsightly dents, and hail damage repair, all repaired to like new conditions. With over 1 million repaired vehicles with satisfied customers, Michael Littleton is the expert in paintless repair. Littleton's Paintless Dent Repair, conveniently located 3 miles from the Arcoma exit off Highway 112. Or call 479-461-9764. Your number one Arkansas fan.
At Chambers Bank, our Arkansas roots grow deep, and you can trust us as your partner for every banking need. From a simple checking account to your first home loan, whatever you need, big or small, we are here for you. With 18 convenient branches throughout the state and a full suite of online banking options, we will always be available when you need us. Family owned in Arkansas since 1930, Chambers is your full-service community bank. Bank with trust at Chambers Bank. Member FDIC, equal housing lender, NMLS 631-520.
ESPN 95.3. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Takes it on the hop at the 9. He's got a seam. Then planted as he got out to the 28-yard line. Dallas Washington picked him up and crushed him.
Talking now with Nikki Chavanel from Rivals about Arkansas recruiting. But first, before we get into that, Nikki, we'll get into the team that you can openly root for, your alma mater, SMU. They stopped your heart a little bit this last Saturday, didn't they?
Yeah, that was a really, really fun one, and not for the best reasons. I mean, they struggled to start with, but I was very, very proud of how they finished, and watching a lot of the guys that I talked to when I was covering recruiting over there is really exciting for me and fun.
You know, you hit on something that Ty and me, I don't know if we got to this the other day, Ty, the thought of SMU winning as much as they are this year, and how much, if any, that has to do with the base that Chad Morris left them with. And you just referred to some of those players that you had covered that Chad Morris was recruiting there to campus. So I wonder your idea of where Chad Morris belongs on the responsibility scale of why SMU is having their best year since the death penalty.
Well, he does have a lot of responsibility for getting some of the biggest playmakers that they have, for sure. I just feel like, you know, when you're recruiting at that level, there's a lot of hits and misses. So a lot of the kids that you recruit aren't going to end up being starters for you. But a lot of I would say maybe a good third of the players that Morris recruited are very heavy contributors over there now. And then they had to fill in some significant holes, like at quarterback with transfers. And I really liked what they did, and you know, looking at all the guys that were available, seeing who's from the Dallas area and being like, hey, come home, get a fantastic education. And the grad transfers, like SMU offers a 1-year MBA program, so that's really big for the grad transfers that only have 1 year left.
All right, so yesterday, Ty and me did get into this Martavius French, Bryson Eason, Tamarian McDonald thing, the Whitehaven Trio. I don't know if they're calling themselves that, but I guess we could now. French sounded to me like he'd practically decommitted, although he hadn't necessarily used that term. It seemed for him, and for Eason potentially too, that if they were going to come to Arkansas, then the Hogs also had to offer their other teammate, the other linebacker that apparently Arkansas hadn't recruited all that hard, but they did put an offer out for him yesterday.
Yeah, so initially, you know, Arkansas has wanted Martavius French and Bryson Eason forever. They're both 4-star linebackers in the Memphis area, which is an area that they want to be very strong recruiting in. So they always wanted those two guys, but Tamarian McDonald, he's a linebacker who can also play safety, but they just weren't quite sure where he would fit. There was, there's a certain evaluation process that they go through where they kind of go down the list of coaches, and they all have to say yes. If they don't all say yes, you kind of wait it out, you watch more tape and everything. So it didn't look like Arkansas was going to cave on that, and it wouldn't have been a problem, but Tennessee then went and offered to Marion, and once that happened, Tennessee was kind of their second choice all along. So when they said, okay, we'll take all three of you, Arkansas was like, well, we are very much at risk of losing the two that we wanted. And then, scholarships, like even if Tamarion McDonald doesn't turn out to be a huge contributor, there's a bunch of guys that aren't contributing a lot to the team right now. I don't really see the issue with one more scholarship if you know that the other two are going to be worth it. And I think that they are. And I like McDonald when I saw him at the North Little Rock game as well. So I think there's definitely something there. It was just about convincing everyone on staff and getting on the same page, and then the added pressure. I do think French would have decommitted if they hadn't offered McDonald, but now all three of them will be on the Hill for the Auburn game. So it all kind of switched just like that.
Talking with Nikki Chavanel, Rivals.com. So, yeah, it seems like they kind of baited them into that one in Arkansas. Not necessarily fell for it, but is going along with it. Nikki, we got a couple texts in here on the Cherokee Casino hotline. Questions for you. Randy wants to know if Arkansas has offered a punter yet. I know, is it Colby Steed? Is that the kid with beautiful hair down there in Glen Rose? Is that the one I'm thinking of?
Yeah, so there are several kickers and punters that they're looking at, but at this point, unless they start figuring out, who might transfer and stuff, it doesn't look like they're going to have room to give a scholarship to a special teams guy. So we'll see how that goes. But I mean, I might put a scholarship down if you can for a kicker, as Connor Limpert's running out of eligibility.
Bruce in Fort Smith asked you about the NCAA holding colleges hostage by making them wait on basketball transfer decisions. I'm only assuming that he's referring to Connor Vanover, and I know Muss touched on that Saturday, how he hasn't heard anything. It doesn't seem like there's a timeline on that. Does that concern him and just really college basketball, college football coaches across the country, that it seems like it's taking forever for some of these guys to either get declared eligible or ineligible?
I mean, I don't really know how much we can blame the NCAA because there are so many guys trying to. I think they saw that it was maybe a little easier for some guys like Justin Fields to get approved and stuff. So they were like, I might as well try even if I don't have a very good case. And so that probably takes a long time to sift through the guys that actually do have solid cases and who don't. And I don't know what the queue looks like for them. I hope they get it done in the next few weeks. But if not, it sounds like Eric Musselman has a plan to make sure that they can still get points up and get rebounds and all that stuff even without him.
Nikki Chavanel from Rivals joins us every Tuesday. Nikki, we had a couple of questions to get into the show here, each with a different segment. Let me ask you both questions. The first one, what is the number one reason you think Arkansas will win at least one conference game?
Well, first of all, I think Kentucky is their best shot at the moment, just with the way that their offense hasn't quite been able to get it going since they lost their starter. I think they just need it, and I think they're on the verge of having a game where they can put all three phases together. They haven't been able to do that yet, but I think the offense is maybe gained some confidence after that A&M game, and then the defense, I think they can do just enough to let the offense score enough points to cover. I think if the offense can get to like 35 points in a game, that the defense can do enough to help them win. So I think at one point they're going to put it all together this season.
Okay, so then the other side of the coin is, why will Arkansas lose every conference game the rest of the way? If you were to pick one reason why, what would that be?
Ooh, well,
too much to choose from, huh?
Yeah, I guess little mistakes, just like in the A&M game, like there little mistakes that are going to cost them points, and then not being able to come away with touchdowns in the red zone. I think that's going to continue to hurt them. They need to figure out their most high percentage plays in those red zone situations. And I think when you get in that short field range, there's too many options. You kind of get like, I don't even know what to run here. And they need to get that down.
So, Nikki, we haven't asked you about food in a while. I know we used to do that a little more often, but it is getting towards a little colder part of the season. The guys on the Morning Rush were joking about how it's become chili season, and they're excited about that. I
had chili this weekend.
Did you? Do you actually? That's funny. What is a food or a group of foods as it gets kind of colder and stuff that you think's really associated with cold weather football and that you really enjoy eating around this time of year?
Well, yeah, it's chili, and then I typically have a lot of pizza around this time of year, burgers, any kind of just quick grill it up during halftime and that kind of stuff. But another thing is hot chocolate. Like midway through October is when I start making a lot of hot chocolate.
A lot of hot chocolate. I noticed no salad. You didn't say anything about salads, simple bowl of cereal, a Yoplait yogurt, anything like that?
No, I'm psyched to put on my winter weight. Let's do it.
All right. Well, hey, why not? I know it dipped under 40 degrees in Fayetteville where you live, so yeah, I guess so. Something to help you stay a little warmer.
Yep.
All right, Nikki. We appreciate you as always. We'll talk about it next week again. Thanks so much.
Thanks, guys.
You got it. Nikki Chavanel from Rivals.com. I got to be honest here. I mean, if you're talking chili, I love chili with or without beans. You got to have something crunchy to go along with it. I'm going to drop in those purple onions and the Frito scoops. I want the scoops, not the regular Fritos. Well, I'll eat those too, but I want the scoops so I can scoop up that stuff and shove it in my gullet.
If Tommy's listening right now, he is holding his hands up praising you because he said the exact same thing this morning, how he's not a fan of just the regular Fritos. He likes the scoops as well.
I've seen people. Somebody put carrots on top of chili to add the crunch. I knew that was going to freak you out.
I mean, I eat carrots, but not on chili. Come on now.
I know it's an odd combo, but if you're looking for the consistency, the crunch, really, I mean, there really isn't much else that's crunchier than a carrot. Urban Meyer was kind of crunchy, though, at the Little Rock Touchdown Club yesterday. Had some interesting things to say. We'll play some of that sound after the break here on ESPN Arkansas.
When in doubt, expense it. You're listening to Halftime.
Your fence is more than a decoration. It's a reflection of its owner. Choosing a fence company should be done with integrity and quality in mind. The Fence Man has been providing fencing and security solutions for over 40 years. An in-house custom iron and gate department, plus an access control department. The Fence Man offers services other companies aren't equipped to do. The Fence Man. Fencing and security solutions to protect what matters most. 479-782-3936 or online at thefencemancompany.com, a division of Quantum Property Services.
If you have experience transporting frozen and refrigerated goods and want to be part of a trucking family with insurance and be home every week, you need to contact Brent Higgins Trucking. Since 1997, Brent Higgins Trucking in Mulberry has been proudly delivering to and from various areas of the United States, including but not limited to Oklahoma, Texas, Louisiana, and Mississippi. Brent Higgins Trucking, where you're a name, not a number. Call them at 479-997-2366 or log on to BrentHigginsTrucking.com.
Frank Rowe Furniture.
Made in the USA Furniture.
Frank Rowe Furniture.
Made in the USA Speed Queen Washer and Dryers.
Frank Rowe Furniture.
In-store, no credit check financing.
Frank Rowe Furniture.
0 down and 0 interest with approved credit.
Frank Rowe Furniture.
Family owned and no high-pressure sales staff.
Frank Rowe Furniture.
Find us on Facebook and Instagram. 405 Fort Street, Barling, Arkansas. Your Made in the USA headquarters.
Best seats in the house.
Did someone say, I'm hungry? Visit 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge on the Avenue. Try the new panini sandwiches like the chicken pyro or the cubana or the signature 906 wings. Jumbo wings roasted with honey bacon jam. Want some spice? Try the black and blue wings. Experience their salads, flatbreads, coffees and desserts, top shelf wines and liquors, premium beers, world-class cigars, all in an atmosphere that feels less like a lounge and more like a destination. Sample, indulge, escape. 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge. Treat your appetite on the Avenue.
Fall has arrived. Back to school, football games, hunting season, season, and we know that you don't have the time to deal with an auto accident. Let Evans Body Shop help you through the process from beginning to end. Our caring office staff will take care of the insurance details, and our dedicated shop crew will make sure that your vehicle is repaired properly and beautifully, and that you are back on the road in no time. Come meet us today and see why we say we meet the nicest people by accident. Visit with us at 412 Gordon Avenue in Van Buren, just off Fayetteville Road.
Evans Body Shop, where we meet the nicest people by accident.
I'm Lisa Hinton, owner of Champ Hinton Enterprises. For nearly 50 years, the Champ Hinton name has stood for one thing: selling quality cars in a different way, taking the mumbo jumbo out of the process and making customers happy. All these years and tens of thousands of cars later, we're still here, doing business the way Champ Hinton taught us, selling to generations of families who've become part of our family. Champ Hinton Enterprises, the area's premier used car dealer. Take the Arcoma exit off I-540 or go online at champhinton.com.
Looking to upgrade your fleet or needing professional service to your existing fleet? Carco International of Fort Smith offers the latest trucks and equipment in the industry. With over 70 years in the trucking and equipment business, they have the experience to keep you on the road. Carco International offers professional service after the sale. Carco International Parts Department supplies all makes, parts, and gives expert service. Carco International is the answer. Leave it to the pros to keep you on the road. Carco International, located at 2721 Midland Boulevard in Fort Smith.
Thank goodness that the fall season is upon us. And with this special time of year comes football, cooler weather, changing leaves, and free internet and phone service from Pinnacle Telecom. That's right. Switch your phone and internet service over to Pinnacle Telecom and get your first month free. Take advantage of Pinnacle Telecom's fast fiber internet and or hosted telephone service, and your first month's bill is on us. So let Pinnacle Telecom make your fall even better with this one-of-a-kind first month free promotion. Pinnacle Telecom, tomorrow's technology today.
ESPN 95.3.
Touchdown! Halftime is brought to you by Supercuts, who supports local teams. Supercuts. We're super into the movement.
Yeah, they got it going on.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
And he's on in place of the injured Ryan Mallett, and he has been brilliant. 12 of 13. Dude, that one's caught. Touchdown. Whoa, what a rope.
Oh, my goodness.
Joe Adams.
There's not a backup in the country that can throw a ball like that.
Still trying to figure out this whole video cast thing. I'm a radio broadcaster, Ty. I'm not used to being on camera or whatever cameras I'm using here.
You look good, man.
I didn't get any makeup before the show today. I mean, these TV stars are supposed to put makeup on. I know Feinbaum does it. I know Stephen A. does it. Hey, if you're on ESPN, you got makeup on. If you're on my buddy Steve Sullivan at KTV, he gave me makeup a couple of years ago when we did a baseball special on Channel 7.
Did he actually?
Of course he did. I asked him for it. I didn't want the, I got a shiny top of the head. I didn't want it to take away from the rest of my features. So I'm going to need a makeup artist for these video casts that I guess we're doing for the entirety of the show, as long as it's on the air.
Well, hey, I wasn't the one that pushed this agenda. You're the one. Hey, I'm getting a new phone. We can try this Skype thing now. This is you're almost backtracking, kind of like you are with the college football betting, dude.
I'm just trying to be a good teammate here. I won't backtrack about the TV deal that we're doing here. I will backtrack about the idea of having to eat something that I'd be forced to sign a hospital waiver for.
What is it, 2.2 million Scovilles?
2.2 million Scovilles for that Reaper Squeezins wing sauce that I'm probably not going to eat. So we'll figure out something else that's hot, just nothing that I've got to sign a hospital waiver for.
Well,
we might as well just put my tongue on a bench and smack it with a mallet. Let's go that area. Let's go that route, because it'd be the same thing as eating Reaper Squeezins.
So I guess we need our listeners to send us some hot sauces that aren't scald your liver and your esophagus hot
sauces that aren't death sauces.
But there needs to be a little tears, crying involved to a certain extent. It just doesn't need to scar you for life. The after effect can't be that long where Phil can't do a broadcast the next day because half of his throat is gone from the ulcer that was just created with the hottest of hot sauce. But it needs to be one where I or Phil are on the brink of tears. And I think there's a balance in there.
Yeah, I would rather this stuff doesn't melt my tongue.
Yeah.
And my fingers while I'm picking up these chicken wings too.
And we have listeners that like food, so I think they'll be able to know a sauce or two, some Cajuns or some guys that have just tried some sauces. But, man, that was hot. I don't want to do that again, but I'd like to see Phil or Ty have to eat 6 wings doused in that.
So Brett and Spyro, you're not allowed to put in an idea here because it was your idea for the Reaper Squeezins, and we're going to find something else. So I don't think Urban Meyer had makeup on at the Little Rock Touchdown Club yesterday, even though he was on camera. I bet you he's got a makeup artist for the Fox preview show, for the Fox Game Day show. I'll bet you he's got that. You know, there was one thing that he said that definitely piqued the interest of Arkansas fans, and you do wonder if he's, playing to the crowd or if he really believes what he said here about the expectations that he has, that Urban Meyer, one of the greatest coaches in college football history, has for Arkansas football.
You just care about one thing, winning. And how do you win? You have to recruit. If you can't recruit the best of the best of the best, you can be Canute, and it's not going to happen for you. You need players. This is not the NFL. And so I think it's Chad Morris, right? I think that's Morris's challenge. But obviously, Petrino got it going, but it's not been. This to me is a 10-win, program. This to me is a place that the Arkansas, once again, that I remember, that I know. Are you kidding me? It's Arkansas. But I don't know the challenges about the, so Arkansas is now playing South Carolina, Gainesville, they're playing teams over there as opposed to teams here. And so I'd never talked to Chad about it. I never actually talked to anybody about it, but that's just my opinion.
So Phil Urban's coached in a couple places, including Bowling Green in Utah, which aren't football powerhouses, and he's had success there. He's turned those programs into successful college football teams. And then he's coached at some big dogs like Florida, like Ohio State, potentially Notre Dame or USC. We'll see what happens there. So he has won everywhere he's gone. And for him to come out and say that, you got to remember, he was the coach 06 SEC championship, also 09 down there in Gainesville, where he saw his team squeak away with the win that to this day Mark Curl should not be a referee based on that performance. So he's seen Arkansas, and they also crushed Arkansas, I want to say like 38-7, either 08, 07. I can't remember the year. I think it was 07. So he's seen Arkansas at some good times. 06, that was one of the best Arkansas teams they've had in the last 20-something years. 29, they were on the rise with Bobby Petrino. But when he says the 10 wins, that surely that can't be an expectation every single year, right?
I doubt it. If you're Urban Meyer, maybe you can expect that because he had 12 seasons of 10 victories. You know how many times Arkansas has won 10 games in a year, Ty?
I think I want to say it's 12, yeah.
It's the same amount.
44 years of football, Arkansas's 12-win seasons? That's right.
It's the same amount. And
yeah.
I guess most of those occurred in the 70s and the 80s. And then, we had the 2010 and 2011. So, he's talking to him. It's Arkansas. To him, he must have been growing up during the time of Lou Holtz, winning 10 and 79, and remembers Ken Hatfield winning 10 games 3 times in the 80s. So, I got to be honest though. What you're talking about is discounted when you are in a state and don't know who the football coach is at the school. He did say it is Chad Morris, right? To me, it sounded like he was playing to the crowd, and
he could have been there.
I think he was. I think it's a guarantee that he was, and I wouldn't put it past Urban Meyer to say something to try to make somebody happy. To try to game them a little bit. I don't know if he's always been the most honest person up front about things, and it seems that in this case, I think he's playing to the crowd, which is fine if that's what you're going to do, because it's good to hear. Hey, Petrino did it, sure, but it's only happened a dozen times. I guess when you're a great coach, and there's no doubt about it, Urban Meyer is a great coach. He has the expectations of winning 10 games, and I think he's looking at Arkansas as a certain brand name from a long time back. I'm not saying you can't win 10 games at Arkansas, but that's the kind of thing right now that I don't think you go into a season expecting. it's something that would make it a truly special season. For Urban Meyer, 10 wins, just a 10-win season, would have been, on the good side of okay.
Yeah.
That's the kind of teams that he had in his career.
But you'd love that for Arkansas. And other news that came out of the Little Rock Touchdown Club yesterday is Urban Meyer is now going to be on the selection group for the Broyles Award. And you can say what you want about his character and stuff, but this is a guy that's had a number of different great assistant coaches. You think about Dan Mullen, Tom Herman, Charlie Strachan. I mean, you go down the list, man, he's similar to Saban in the fact that he is just coached with some studs, like just some absolute studs. I mean, Mullen, what he's doing at Florida, Kyle Whittingham, what he's doing at Utah. I mean, there's 4 or 5 guys that Urban Meyer has coached football with that are just doing really good things in the sport right now. And I think that speaks to him as a coach and his this. I say discipleship, but I cringe saying that because that's not the right word. But not mental. What's the word where you like disassociate character, but just the work side of it? Because that's what I want to characterize Urban Meyer, what he's doing with these assistants. Because he doesn't have the highest moral authority when it comes to college football coaches, but he's a stinking good college football coach, and he's passed along some of his college football traits to some of his assistant coaches.
And Mark May, the former Pitt Panther and Washington Redskin and ESPN college football analyst, was on record saying that Urban Meyer is going to be the next coach at USC, which we've talked about that with Aaron Torres a couple of times, and the rumors are certainly there. Remains to be seen, though, because, let's say USC beats Notre Dame this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I would doubt that Clay Helton's going to be showing the door, although you do have, whenever they do hire a new athletic director, but he shot down that rumor pretty quickly, not like he's going to say, yes, I'm going to be the next coach at USC, but he said, what was it? Mark May is not in my inner circle.
Yeah.
You wonder who is in Urban Meyer's inner circle.
I'm assuming Shelley, his wife. Outside of that, there's probably not a lot, but it's funny when college football coaches are asked about prospective jobs. Bob Stoops said it best. He's like, I'm not going to be a coach where there is a current sitting head coach. And he was doing an interview with Jeremy Schaap on ESPN a couple weeks ago, and I heard him say that, and he was pretty resounding. And you never want to speculate on a job that's currently being filled by someone. That'd be like me speculating about a job that's currently filled by someone in the radio business. It's just not. It's not fair, and it's just kind of disrespectful to a certain degree.
But nobody on this radio station will ask you or anybody else questions as to if you're going to, become a talk show host at some other level, or some other station, or take somebody else's job. You can imagine, wherever Urban Meyer goes, and wherever a lot of other out-of-work coaches go that have a track record of success, that they're going to be asked about other programs. We heard Bob Stoops, he got asked about Auburn. He wouldn't answer that. He got upset at our friend Aaron Torres for asking if he would ever get back into college coaching. They just, especially in October and early October, that's nothing that they want to talk about, because I think that they would see if they were in that coach's shoes, they wouldn't appreciate it either. So, and somebody else asked him if he's going to be Notre Dame's next coach. He said, I'm just here to talk about Arkansas. So, you can sympathize with the idea that you get that same question every single place you go, but you're going to get the same answer. So I guess it's time to stop asking that question. That's the first hour of halftime under your belt. We'll come back with a little update on the Major League playoffs, got some Razorback news, and get off my lawn, so stick around. We're back after the break.
Great camping weather is just around the corner, so at Breeden RV in Van Buren, we're having our year-end clearance sale right now. Get great deals on new RVs like travel trailers that start at $99.95 and fifth wheels starting under $30,000. Breeden RV is the only dealer that gives our new customers maintenance for life for free. We also have a great selection of pre-camp trailers and RVs to choose from. Now is the time to camp, and now is the time to let Breeden RV in Van Buren show you just how easy it can be. Breeden RV, your home for maintenance for life.
Oh, that's an RV.
Hi, I'm Jack with Arvest Bank. My goal today, stay on this bull for 8 seconds.
He's down.
Maybe I should have let an expert help me accomplish my goal. And for your financial goals, Arvest is the expert. We make getting a loan quick and easy, right out of the gate. So apply today in person or online. When it comes to your finances, trust the experts. Trust Arvest. Watch me attempt more goals at arvest.com/experts.
Right now, I'm holding a perfectly ice-cold Coors Light.
You know how I know it's the perfect temperature? Because the mountain on the can is blue. And also it's really cold. Every Coors Light is cold filtered, cold lagered, and cold packaged. Notice how many times I said cold? 3 times. It's that cold. So make sure the mountain on your can of Coors Light is blue, because that means it's ready to enjoy. 2019 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
The Catfish Kitchen at the top of Logtown Hill in Van Buren has lunch specials every weekday from 11 till 2, starting at only $7.99. Try the 3-piece catfish filet dinner with hand-cut fries and all the fixins. It's only $11.29. And the Catfish Kitchen is more than catfish. Try their shrimp dinners, cooked any way you like it. Chicken tenders, crab cakes, or one of their po' boy sandwiches. The Catfish Kitchen, open Tuesday through Sunday 11 till 9 at 727 Fayetteville Road at the top of Logtown Hill, across from the police station in Van Buren.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
Clear sky tonight, and overnight low will drop down in the middle to upper 40s. Lots of sunshine Tuesday, our high in the low to mid 70s. Wednesday, plenty of sunshine. Our high temperatures will be hanging out in the mid to upper 70s. And then a chance of showers and storms Thursday. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
Proceed. KERX Paris Fort Smith. This is Halftime, coming at you from the Bush and Bushlight Studios on ESPN 95.3.
It's what I always listen to.
Good morning, Vietnam!
Broadcasting live from the Bud Light Studio.
I love Arkansas! I love everything here! Give me that thing here! Woo!
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Why did that happen in Fayetteville, Arkansas?
Dixon Street. It'll get you.
Streaming live from
Hit that line.
.com.
You want answers! I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
This is Halftime.
Man, that ball got out of here in a hurry.
With Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Phil, you're one of the best baseball announcers in the country, and Ty, you're one of the best up-and-coming young talents in the broadcasting industry. You really do your homework.
See ya! D-Mac! Hold on, Matt Ryan! D-Mac not looking back. Touchdown!
How about that Heisman, Mark Jones?
How do you like it?
Wide open again.
All right, hold on. It's almost halftime.
All right, second hour of halftime. Going to get into some baseball talk here. Phil Elson with Ty Richardson on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. You can get with us on the Cherokee Casino hotline. It's open for you at 877-377-6963. Good for a call or a text. Our 2 questions today, and they are related. Why will Arkansas win at least one conference game the rest of the way? What gives you positive thoughts that Arkansas can get a victory, even if it's just because of the opponent that they're facing, which is this Saturday, Kentucky, and that's one reason why I think they get a win. And the other question, why Arkansas will lose every conference game the rest of the way. So I guess it matters if you're an optimist or if you're a pessimist, and you can blend them both together. I was optimistic yesterday that we would have baseball today and tomorrow, and thank goodness that is the case, Ty, because 3 of the 4 teams that had a chance to clinch did not clinch. And so you're going to end up with a couple of Game 5s on Wednesday, and then later on today you'll get a Game 4. So I'm pretty excited about the thought of what you're going to see throughout the rest of the week, baseball-wise. Today it's the Astros and the Rays. Tampa Bay picking up the victory yesterday, 10-3. Mr. Talkative Zach Greinke was not very good and gets stroked there in Tampa. But the Astros do have Justin Verlander waiting in the wings, so if you beat one ace, they got another couple of aces ready to go. And so you got to give the Astros the edge. I mean, I think they are head and shoulders better than Tampa. Plus the fact that later on today, Tampa is bullpenning, Ty. So they're using a reliever, Diego Castillo, to start. And even with the game being played in Tampa, because of the pitching matchup and the fact that the Rays are going to have to dig as far into the bullpen as they possibly can, Houston is a road favorite on the money line, minus 240.
Wow.
240 as a road team today in the playoffs. And it's because of Verlander, who allowed just 1 hit in 7 innings, dominating Tampa in the one game he pitched against them in this playoff series, striking out 8 batters. And you know when Verlander's on, he's unbeatable.
And it's like we said the other week or so that you think he'd get complacent with Kate Upton as his wife, but there's an argument to be made that he's gotten better in the postseason since arriving in Houston, right?
Well, and he just seems to, at times, show that at the age of, 35 years old now?
Don't ask me that.
He's 36. He's 36 years old.
Jeez.
And is still as good as he was at times during his Cy Young years with the Detroit Tigers. So, I mean, most of our listening audience probably was pretty fired up about the St. Louis Cardinals, the Atlanta Braves game yesterday, in which the Cardinals win in 10 innings, 5-4. This has been, for your money, the most entertaining series. It's been tough for teams to hold a lead, and been some dramatic finishes. Yesterday was Yadier Molina's game-winning sacrifice fly off Julio Teheran that gets St. Louis at least another day.
And he hit one in the 8th, too, right?
So he had himself a couple of big moments. And so I saw a couple of people tweet this. And you'd asked the question, too, on our rundown about where Molina fits in to all-time Cardinals history.
It's these dumb whippersnappers, Phil.
Well, look, I mean, Molina is an interesting case because the statistics show that he really has not been a very good hitter throughout most of his career. But I don't think you can watch him catch and say that he's not a truly great catcher. Not good, not above average, but a great catcher in every area of what you got to do. And you so often you look to the arm strength, and yes, he's got the arm strength and a quick pop time, but he frames pitches well. I know he had a couple of drops yesterday, though, but he frames well. He gets the confidence of that pitching staff up. He's active behind the plate, and he really is one of the best catchers of his time. But he is not better than, I'm not even sure if I would put him up on the so-called Mount Rushmore of St. Louis Cardinals baseball because, you only have room for 4. On Mount Rushmore. So you got to be picky of who you choose here.
Bob Gibson
at the top of the list. Stan Musial. Albert Pujols belongs there. I think you could go with any number of like an Ozzie Smith or a Rogers Hornsby. I have trouble putting Molina up amongst the top 4 all time for St. Louis. I think that eventually he'll be a Hall of Famer. I don't think he'll be a first ballot Hall of Famer. I don't put Molina at the same level as a Mike Piazza or an Ivan Rodriguez or even a Johnny Bench. But I do think, and here's the thing about the catching position, there's only one other position in baseball history that's had fewer Hall of Famers than catchers. 18 Hall of Fame catchers. And a lot of them, at the end of their career, played third base or another position because it's tough to get up and down. That's one thing that sets Molina apart. He's always been a catcher. Third base, by the way, is the other position that's had fewer Hall of Famers. So, I mean, I think Molina will get there, but I don't think he'll be a first ballot Hall of Famer. And I think that there's a difference between being the best Cardinal of all time or amongst the Mount Rushmore and being your favorite Cardinal of right now. I think there's a recency bias to this.
And yeah, that's what I was going to get into. You think about what Twitter does to bragging and Twitter does to arguments these days.
Twitter.
I mean, you have a bunch of millennials and people around my age that take the mindset of what have you done for me lately? And I have a massive amount of respect for some of the golden generations of different sports over the years, whether it's 80s and 90s basketball, early 2000s, 90s football. I mean, I tend to, before I say this is the greatest so-and-so ever, you got to do your due diligence. You got to do your research. And some of these younger generations that I happen to be a part of but don't necessarily agree with, they just see something. And let's not give him respect. Yachty's a heck of a baseball player. But at the same time, you got to stop yourself from doing I'm seeing this live. I'm getting to see this in person, so this guy has to be better than the guy 30, 40 years ago that I didn't get a chance to watch. That's not always the case. You have to take yourself out of the equation just a little bit and look back to some of the statistics, records, how the game was played, and so on, and then kind of factor all that in when you think about the equation and the argument itself, Phil, which oftentimes people like me, and I say people like me, the generation like me doesn't seem to do. They just point to, oh, he plays, I get to watch him, he's the best player of all time.
Stan Musial is the greatest Cardinal of all time. So, I mean, Yadier Molina's career OPS, and OPS is the combination of on-base percentage and slugging. His career OPS, 738. That's okay, you know. Stan Musial had one season with an OPS lower than Molina's average OPS, and it was when Musial played his final season at the age of 42. I mean, this was a guy that hit 330 at age 41 and hit 351 to lead the National League at age 36. Yes, and I know we're talking about an outfielder versus a catcher.
It's like Brady age right there.
It's incredible what Musial was able to do. And he missed a year because of military service at the end of World War II, by the way, and still put together, at that point, he had the most hits in National League history until Hank Aaron took that away. So, yeah, I mean, Musial is ahead of Molina. I put Gibson ahead of him. And even I think Ted Simmons is a better hitter than Molina, just wasn't a better catcher. So, I mean, you could argue about this until the sun goes down, and then argue about it until the sun comes up again, and probably end up angering some Cardinal fans in the process.
So we're obviously in Cardinal country, but of the teams remaining in the playoffs, Phil, which do you think that Arkansans are most closely associated to / the most amount of fans in this state?
You know, it's probably the Braves. I think TBS has mostly to do with that, and a little bandwagon from the Braves being so good over the last 25 years or so. After that, you know, maybe you look at Houston. I know some Houston fans in this area, but it would be Cardinals first, and then it would be Braves second. I'll bet you there are Yankee fans around here too, you know, just because there are Yankee fans everywhere, because it's easy to be a Yankees fan. It just is.
I feel, and again, I'm not the biggest baseball guy, but I feel like that's the most hated franchise in sports.
Right, and then the other side of the idea that there are Yankee fans here, there are a lot of other people that are rooting for whomever New York is playing.
Yeah, so, and that will be me. I'm not the biggest Cardinals fan, but I will cheer for the Cardinals over the Yankees because I think that there's just a little something extra that I have that they like better. So I don't know. There's not a lot though. Not a lot of difference to me.
Halftime brought to you by our friends at Breeden RV in Van Buren. They're having their year-end clearance sale right now. Get a great deal on a new RV plus travel trailer starting at $99.95 and fifth wheel starting at under $30,000. Of course, Breeden RV offers all new customers maintenance for life for free. Breeden RV has a great selection of pre-camp trailers and RVs to choose from. Find Breeden RV in Van Buren or at BreedenRVs.com. Halftime on a Tuesday. Stick around. Got some Arkansas Razorback news after the break on ESPN Arkansas and HitThatLine.com.
When in doubt, expense it. You're listening to Halftime. This is the Morning Rush.
It's just amazing that when Eric Musselman is in front of the media or in front of the fans, and now we got to see what he's like, see him in that coach's role, to see how vocal he was, to see how detail-oriented he seemed to be with just the small things, like, for instance, calling a timeout because his team wasn't lined up correctly on the free throw line. I mean, that's the type of thing that you like to see if you're a Razorback basketball fan.
Don't miss the Morning Rush. Weekdays from 6 till 9, only on ESPN 95.3.
When was the last time you looked forward to seeing the dentist? Well, if it's been a while or you haven't had the best of experience with dentistry, meet Marcy Van Ash McKinney in Family Dentistry. They take care of it all. Crowns, bonding, dentures, bleaching, and cosmetic dentistry. They even offer oral consciousness sedation available for your comfort. That's Marcy Van Ash McKinney Family Dentistry at 807 South 21st. Call for an appointment today, 494-7600. That's 494-7600.
The best TV experience in the nation is available locally with personal service from WOW World of Wireless, your neighborhood professional Dish authorized retailer. Dish has the Hopper 3, the most advanced DVR, and delivers a premium viewing experience. Tired of running out of DVR space? With the Hopper 3, you can record up to 2,000 hours of your favorite programming and watch your very own favorite channels and DVR recording anywhere you go on your phone or tablet. Call now, WOW World of Wireless at 877-305-DISH. That's 877-305-3474 for more details. Or stop by our location at the corner of Phoenix and Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith, or visit us online at shopwownow.com. Get the Hopper 3 today by calling WOW World of Wireless at 877-305-DISH. That's 877-305-3474. Or online at shopwownow.com.
Monthly equipment fees and other restrictions apply. Recording hours vary. 2,000 hours based on SD programming. Remote viewing requires internet connection and compatible mobile device.
With over 40 years combined experience, the team at the law offices of Craig L. Cook understand the definition of work. Real work. Working for you. Whether you've been injured in an auto accident, on the job, a victim of nursing home negligence, or need help navigating bankruptcy, Social Security, wills, trusts, estates, or family law issues, Craig Cook will go to work for you. Call us today, 479-783-8000. The law offices of Craig L. Cook, with locations in Arkansas and Oklahoma. We work for working people.
Do you hear that Coors Light being poured? It's the perfect temperature. How can I tell just based on the sound? I can't. But I can see that the mountain on the can is blue. And when the mountain is blue, your Coors Light is perfectly cold. Coors Light is cold lagered for a crisper taste, cold filtered for brightness and clarity, and cold packaged for peak refreshment. Doesn't that sound good? 2019 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
Protection with possibilities. Have past losses made you cautious about taking on risk with your investments? Are you concerned that your savings are not generating the returns you need? If you are interested in protecting your money and capturing potential investment growth, contact Brad Lewis at United Financial Advisors at 242-7466 or ufadvisors.net to see whether market-linked CDs may be the right solution for you.
Securities and advisory service offered through Royal Alliance Associates, member FINRA, SIPC. United Financial Advisors is a marketing destination.
Fall has arrived. Back to school, football games, hunting season, and we know that you don't have the time to deal with an auto accident. Let Evans Body Shop help you through the process from beginning to end. Our caring office staff will take care of the insurance details, and our dedicated shop crew will make sure that your vehicle is repaired properly and beautifully, and that you are back on the road in no time. Come meet us today and see why we say we meet the nicest people by accident. Visit with us at 412 Gordon Avenue in Van Buren, just off Fayetteville Road.
Evans Body Shop, where we meet the nicest people by accident.
ESPN 95.3.
Touchdown!
Halftime is brought to you by Supercuts, who supports local teams. Supercuts. We're super into the movement.
Yeah, they got it going on.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
On first down now, Boyd to call. Catch back across the 40. Raheem to midfield. To the 40. To the 30. To the 20. He's going to the house. Raheem Boyd for a touchdown.
We got in a little bit of recruiting news with Nikki Chabanel. Mentioned that Arkansas did offer to Marion McDonald, 4-star linebacker / safety, at a Whitehaven High School in Memphis. His two teammates, one of them Martavius French, I almost hesitated to call him a commit because he had practically decommitted without using that term a couple of days ago to a 24/7 sports writer. But now with McDonald, his teammate, getting offered, Bryson Eason's been offered as well. French potentially might keep that commitment now, but these guys are still going to be looking at other schools. I mean, McDonald's coming up for an official visit for the Auburn game. But did I see in that 247 Sports story that he's a commit to Mississippi State?
Correct.
So he's still going to be looking around. French said he still has a visit to Oregon and Purdue planned, and I think another school I'm forgetting about. So Arkansas did their due diligence by offering whom they had to in order to get the kids that they wanted. But it still doesn't seem like it's a sure thing.
No, it doesn't. And again, as Nikki mentioned in hour number one, if you didn't get a chance to listen to the interview, we'll get that up on the halftime pod for you around 3 o'clock or so. But French, Eason, and McDonald are all coming to Auburn next weekend, and that's going to be key. Arkansas hopefully will play at least competitive in that football game, and there'll be another of different things. And hopefully Chad Morris can not sell them on the future, but what they're building at the time right now, because you can't point to the football game most likely and say, see, this is why you should come to Arkansas, because I don't anticipate there being a massive crowd there unless Arkansas just goes into Lexington and just beats the tar out of the Wildcats, which you and I both know that's not going to happen.
Other news involving former Razorbacks instead of potentially future ones. The XFL sent out a 4-graphic tweet with names that are entered into the XFL draft pool. And one name stood out. Former Razorback quarterback Austin Allen is going to be in the XFL draft pool. So I didn't see Ryan Mallett's name there. Mallett, it was assumed that he was going to be one of the first players taken in the XFL draft. But I wonder with his recent run-in with the law, with the DUI, if potentially that takes precedence and the XFL's backing off.
Because I remember the email he put on his Instagram from Oliver Luck asking or sending, hey, congrats on your acceptance or whatever it was. And, yeah, so what kind of stance are they going to be doing with these players that have background issues or like personal issues or stuff like that? I'm curious to see what happens, but I would think that based on the work he seems like he's put in, based on the weight he's lost and stuff, based on the fact that he told the Little Rock Touchdown Club a couple weeks ago that he wants to get back into football, that he's ready to play. But we'll see what happens with this whole situation, Phil.
See, Dallas Keuchel wasn't very good yesterday. Speaking of former Razorbacks, lasted, let's see here, got into the 5th inning, and actually the 4th inning, gave up 3 runs, 7 base runners against him, including 3 homers. Never really had that much on the fastball, but he had enough for that changeup to be able to pitch off the fastball, but this didn't really look like he had much heat. And keep in mind, Keuchel didn't pitch this year for the first 3 months because he didn't take the contract offer from Houston, elected to go to free agency, and nobody offered him a contract for a long time. Went to the Braves, and I mean he was okay with Atlanta. 3.75 ERA, 8-8 record, but gave up 16 home runs in 19 starts. So I mean he will be a free agent again, and you wonder where Keuchel fits into the picture because it's doubtful that he'll get the same sort of offer that he was getting from the Houston Astros during the offseason last year. So that's an update on Keuchel. Saw that Hunter Henry was practicing last week and now may return. He's not a guarantee to return Sunday night from the left tibia plateau fracture that he suffered the first week of the season. But you might see Hunter Henry on the field against the Pittsburgh Steelers Sunday Night Football on NBC. That would be great because I remember after the injury, there were thoughts that Henry may miss the entire season for the 2nd year in a row. But apparently he is healing quickly and might get on the field this Sunday against the Steelers.
I know that Phillip Rivers would love having him, and
oh, yeah.
I mean, you got a number of different weapons, whether it's Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Eckler's played pretty good this year. You got the addition of Melvin Gordon back, but I mean, Hunter Henry adds an element at the tight end position that I think Phillip Rivers would love to have. I know those two have keyed up a couple times when he's been playing, and so you hope that former Hog, former Little Rock standout gets back, gets healthy, and unfortunately he's just had a couple of things happen to him early on in his NFL career that have prohibited him from playing full seasons, Phil.
Chargers 2-3 record puts them 2 games in back of the Kansas City Chiefs. After the Steelers game this Sunday, they get the Titans on the road, the Bears on the road, and then host the, who knows if they'll be red hot. They get a bye week in between there, but they'll play against the Packers on November the 3rd. Speaking of former Arkansas tight ends, Jeremy Sprinkle did get a couple of passes caught in Washington's 33-7 loss to New England. 7 catches for Sprinkle, 75 yards this year. He's been one of the top special teamers for Washington, and obviously the Redskins have some things to figure out after the 5 o'clock morning firing of Jay Gruden, and now bringing on Bill, why am I forgetting Bill's last name? Former Nebraska coach Callahan. Bill Callahan, that's right.
That's who they brought on? Jeez.
Yeah, he's I think he was the offensive line coach, and now he's going to be the interim head coach for the rest of the year. So good luck, Bill Callahan. Didn't work out for him at all at Nebraska. He did get the Oakland Raiders to a Super Bowl where he lost to Jay Gruden's brother, John Gruden. And so, yeah, and again, there's some other things for Washington to worry about other than getting Jeremy Sprinkle the ball. By the way, in that same game, Dietrich Wise had a couple of tackles. So I did see. I thought I saw this on the Chicago Bulls Twitter page this morning, Ty. A pretty impressive thunder dunk by one Daniel Gafford over Giannis.
His brother.
Oh, that was his brother.
Yeah, his
okay,
brother.
I thought I saw the last name there that
Yeah.
I can't pronounce.
So, yeah, Antetokounmpo, that would have been something. I think that Daniel would have had to frame that the facial that he would have done it over Giannis. But, yeah, it's his brother's cousin. Someone's got to double-check me on that. I'm 99% sure it's his brother. But, yeah, it was Denzel Valentine who played for Michigan State, and Tom Izzo. He comes off a little pick and roll and finds Daniel. And it's crazy how much that Daniel's – I mean, he's 6'10", 6'11", but he just elevates, man. That guy can get up, and he's not the most fleetest. I say that I'd say he's pretty fleet of foot when it comes to standards in college basketball. See if that translates to the NBA. But, yeah, his dunk, man, the alley-oop, you hope you see a lot of that for the Bulls this season. He goes 3 for 6, 6 for 8 from the free throw line, has 12 points, 5 boards, 3 blocks in his preseason depth, Bill. But I feel like that he's going to have a decent amount of highlights that go on the Chicago Bulls social media pages this year if he gets some playing time.
Did you see the video of Zion Williamson signing autographs before his preseason debut? And it looked like the young lady that was getting an autograph from him was like, I don't know, 12 or 13 years old.
Yeah.
And she was reduced to tears by just being in front of Zion Williamson. You know, and I know he's the most famous college basketball player that I can remember in my lifetime. Other than maybe, I mean, I remember the hype around Shaquille O'Neal, but I've never seen anything, you know, that's kind of surrounded what we see here from Zion Williamson to the point where a guy who's never played a single game in the regular season in the NBA, and the young lady was reduced to tears. So I mean, that's a pretty strong power of fame right there.
He was so fun to watch in college, and I really wanted UCF to beat them with Taco Fall and then Johnny Dawkins' son, whose name I'm forgetting, that had a spectacular game against Duke, but they missed the layup at the very end.
Right.
But the guy was just incredible for a year of college basketball. I mean, it was phenomenal because Duke gets all these primetime games because they're Duke, and then you add Zion on top of that. It was just awesome. And I easily, if there's another player the last couple years that's top, I think about Steph in the NCAA tournament, Jimmer in the NCAA tournament, but we had Zion for like the entire season, game after game, marquee matchup after marquee matchup. And for a girl to be to tears, I don't know if I'd get on to tears if I met Zion Williamson, Phil, but man, it would be something to see what he was like live on a basketball court.
And Zion's career really begins October 22nd when the Pelicans take on defending NBA champion Toronto at Scotiabank Arena up in the north. Of course, Toronto is a much different team now than they were when they won the championship just a few months ago. Lakers and Clippers also open the season the same night. Daniel Gafford begins his NBA career. The following day, on October 23rd, the Bulls will play against the Hornets in Charlotte at the Spectrum Center. Maybe sometime during the season we can get Sam Smith on to see what the godfather of Chicago basketball writing has to say about what he has seen from one Daniel Gafford. So, it's one of the things about October, Ty. You got the baseball playoffs. NFL season is in mid-season form now. The college football season will really start to shape up in front of us in the coming weeks. NHL has begun. The NBA is on the way. And we've got a couple of calls coming up. We've got your texts on the Cherokee Casino hotline right after this on Halftime on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Good coaches win. Great coaches cover. This is Halftime.
Did someone say, I'm hungry? Visit 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge on the Avenue. Try the new panini sandwiches like the chicken pyro or the Cubana or the signature 906 wings. Jumbo wings roasted with honey bacon jam. Want some spice? Try the black and blue wings. Experience their salads, flatbreads, coffees and desserts, top shelf wines and liquors, premium beers, world-class cigars, all in an atmosphere that feels less like a lounge and more like a destination. Sample, indulge, escape. 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge. Treat your appetite on the Avenue.
At Chambers Bank, our Arkansas Arkansas roots grow deep, and you can trust us as your partner for every banking need. From a simple checking account to your first home loan, whatever you need, big or small, we are here for you. With 18 convenient branches throughout the state and a full suite of online banking options, we will always be available when you need us. Family owned in Arkansas since 1930, Chambers is your full-service community bank. Bank with trust at Chambers Bank. Member FDIC, equal housing lender, NMLS 631520.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing, and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
Arrow Bolt and Screw is Fort Smith's distributor of bolts, screws, fasteners, anchors, and much, much more. They have a wide variety, stainless steel inventory, and metric fasteners. This family-owned and operated business takes great pride in providing their valued clients with high-quality products at low, affordable prices. Arrow Bolt and Screw can be found at 5424 Wheeler Avenue in Fort Smith. That's Arrow Bolt and Screw. Call 646-0540. That's 646-0540. Arrow Bolt and Screw.
Elite Roofing is a locally owned roofing contractor. If you're building a new home or maybe need a new roof on your existing home, Elite Roofing can take care of you. Elite Roofing is known for their dependability and reliability. Just ask any of their satisfied customers. They are licensed and insured, and references are available upon request. If you need a roof, call your local roofing contractors. Elite Roofing, 478-8668. That's 478-8668. Elite Roofing, 478-8668.
Looking to upgrade your fleet or needing professional service to your existing fleet? Carco International of Fort Smith offers the latest trucks and equipment in the industry. With over 70 years in the trucking and equipment business, they have the experience to keep you on the road. Carco International offers professional service after the sale. Carco International Parts Department supplies all makes, parts, and gives expert service. Carco International is the answer. Leave it to the pros to keep you on the road. Carco International, located at 2721 Midland Boulevard in Fort Smith.
ESPN 95.3. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Sterner, 5-step drop this time, going for the home run, and it's caught! It's Lucas, and he's heading for the end zone. Touchdown, Arkansas, 80 yards!
Back on Halftime on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. Got some stuff coming up here on Eric Musselman's appearance on our friend Aaron Torres's podcast, the Aaron Torres Sports Podcast. I think his favorite basketball coach is Eric Musselman. Pretty sure about that. We'll get into that in a moment, though. First up, however, on the Cherokee Casino hotline is Sterling in Center Ridge. Sterling, you want to talk some baseball. What's up?
Of course, it's October, baby. I mean, this is what it's all about. October, one of my favorite sports months of the year. You know, football's in full swing, and there's nothing better than postseason baseball to me, guys. You know, this Cardinal-Braves series, the Dodgers National Series going to go down to the wire. You know, the Yankees made quick work of Minnesota. I thought that might go at least. I thought Minnesota might get at least one game, but apparently not. But the Redbirds, you know, the narrative was that Schilt stayed with his guy. You know, he went back to Martinez after he blew up in Game 1 as well. But he really didn't have much choice. You know, he came in the ninth with a tie game. The pitcher spots threw up in the bottom of the ninth, and you only got Ponce de Leon and Cabrera in the bullpen, and you save Immaculate in case you go to extras. You know, you need somebody to go long in case the game goes to 12, 13, 14 innings. So he really didn't have much choice. It wasn't so much, to me, that he stuck with his guys as he was down to – that's what he had left. Basically, you don't want to go to Ponce de Leon, and you sure don't want to go to Cabrera in that spot. I mean, you have to go with Martinez. Don't you agree?
Absolutely. And look, I mean, using your closer in the top of a ninth inning of a tie game is something that every manager will do if you're the home team. And I agree. Look, I mean, hey, the biggest thing that happened to St. Louis in this case for the postseason was losing Jordan Hicks to the injury a couple of months ago. I know St. Louis's bullpen has been good during the regular season, but without Hicks in the postseason, and Martinez does have the capability to implode, as we saw in back-to-back games. But he looked pretty good last night, And you wonder if Game 5 of this series comes down to which bullpen is able to protect the lead late, because that's been the issue, holding leads late. You have an announcement on the starting pitchers: Jack Flaherty for St. Louis, Mike Fulton-Nevich for Atlanta. I mean, you give the Braves a little bit of an edge there. Fulton-Nevich was outstanding, but I'm not sure if you give them that much of an edge. It's going to come down to the bullpens, as that entire series has.
And one more thing before I let you go. You know, I hear some baseball people, and some of them that I do respect, but I totally disagree with them on one. They question whether Yachty is a Hall of Famer. To me, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. What's your thoughts? And y'all have a great day, and go Cole.
Now I got into that a little bit earlier, Sterling, and I appreciate the call. I do think that Molina will make it into the Hall of Fame. I'm doubtful he'll be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Now, a lot of that has to do with who who you're going up against. You know, who else is on the ballot that year. It's pretty difficult if there are a couple of real shoo-ins that are on the ballot to also be a first ballot Hall of Famer. So that's going to be part of it. But I also think that when you look at Molina's career offensive statistics, and I know there's a lot of people that will point to the idea that his ability to catch, his catching ability goes beyond stats, but I think his bat is what will hold him back a little bit. He really only had like 3 or 4 seasons where he was truly a positive force offensively. He's been a defensive force nearly every year, but kind of a below-average hitter for a good chunk of his career. So I do think he'll make it into the Hall of Fame, but I'm dubious on the thought of Molina being a first-ballot Hall of Famer. That's the kind of stuff that you reserve for Pudge Rodriguez, Johnny Bench. I don't think Mike Piazza made it on the first ballot, but in order to be a first-ballot Hall of Fame catcher, for me, you need to be a great catcher and a great hitter. And I see Molina as a great catcher, not a great hitter. All right, and again, if I angered Cardinal fans about it, it's just a matter of opinions, and I think the recency bias goes into it a little bit. All right, so let's get into this podcast that Aaron Torres did with Eric Musselman. Ty, I don't know if AT gave us a preview of what he was going to talk about with Muss when we had Aaron on Friday. But I mean, we've had Aaron on every week, practically every week since we started the show, and I feel like we were talking Eric Musselman with him before, while Mike Anderson was still the Arkansas coach. AT loves him some Muss, and he's the guy that that told us what the practices are like. He went and visited practice at Nevada a couple of times, and I think it was Aaron that described the practices as controlled chaos. And I can't wait to see what these practices are like with Musselman, because I've read about it, and they just seem to be unlike most practices in college basketball. So the podcast came out yesterday. It's the Aaron Torres Sports Podcast. You can download it anywhere you get your podcasts, including all the spots of HitThatLine.com's podcasts. So we've got some sound to play from Eric Musselman on the Aaron Torres Sports Podcast. Ty, you can choose which soundbite you want to play first.
He was huge in promotion, Aaron. I mean, we would go, to a McDonald's for lunch, and I'd go in and order, and he'd come in with a box. The box would be full of University of Minnesota Golden Gopher basketball T-shirts, and he would pass them out to everybody in the McDonald's. And I'd be so embarrassed. I'd get back in the car. He would say, hey, look, every single person that puts that T-shirt on is now a walking billboard for our basketball program. And so I was exposed to all these creative things. He was way, way, way ahead of his time.
Phil, we've talked about on this program before how influential and important our fathers are in our lives. Now, your dad's a dentist, my dad's a pharmaceutical rep. We didn't follow their career paths, but you think about his career paths. I mean, Bill was a basketball coach. Much of his childhood was spent alongside his father learning. Whether he wanted to or not initially, you just pick up on things. Like I picked up on things from my father, regardless if I wanted to or not. It just happens over time when you're around someone for so long. And so this is like a perfect example that he's talking about with Aaron on the podcast, how, yes, it can be a little corny. It can be a little embarrassing. He talked about a couple weeks ago how his sons and daughters, and even his wife to a certain extent, aren't the biggest fan of him wearing a headband and putting that up. But what does that do? It humanizes you in a little bit. The marketing aspect of it, when you're passing out T-shirts, you might not think of anything of it. Maybe they don't wear that shirt anything again. Or maybe they tell their friends, hey, I met the basketball coach. Let's go to the game on Saturday night. That could be one of those things. Maybe some of those kids he picked up on the golf cart the first game of school had no interest in basketball whatsoever until they just see this corny-looking guy driving up in a golf cart. Hey, man, I'm Eric. I'm the basketball coach. I'm getting to do that. So in a way, some of these marketing aspects, some of these ideas that he's used so far has humanized him, not only to fans, but to students, and most importantly, recruits as well.
Well, and look, I mean, how many NBA coaches really have to get involved in the marketing? I mean, they'll be told how to get involved in the marketing, be in this video, go visit that group of fans, shake this hand, kiss that baby. That's what the NBA head coaches do for marketing. They're more interested in what's going on with getting their team prepared, or in some cases just kind of sitting there and letting the stars dictate what's going on.
Yeah.
You know, with Musselman's father, Bill, and I think because a lot of his career was spent in the CBA, where coaches are part of the marketing. I mean, because they have to. They have to get out there and do everything they can to bring fans into the game. And I mean, I saw this with minor league baseball, in which really the managers of minor league baseball teams are not as engrossed in the marketing, I think, as some other sports where they're paid by the front office of the team, and so they have to get involved in that. And you have to do this, you know, like quote unquote outside of the box thinking, and that's what Musselman is doing at Arkansas, where I mean, you know, getting on camera and talking openly to fans is one thing, but he's marketing to kids that he wants to play for this team. He's marketing to fans, I think, young and old at the same time. You could see that with, you know, I felt, who's he marketing to when you put your red-white game in the old building?
Older
that's
generation,
to the nostalgic crowd. Who's he marketing to with all of these, you know, remakes of famous NBA photos with recruits? That's to the young people. He's recruiting to everybody all at once. It's really amazing to see, and I wonder how he's able to continue doing this sort of stuff while the season is being played. I just wonder how much energy the guy has, because his energy seems to be, you know, it's 11 on a scale of 10.
So I know we're coming up on our break, Phil, but not exact same type of philosophies, but with all the recruiting mindsets from both the football and basketball program, you see some similarities, except the football team hasn't done anything yet. Yes, their marketing's been stellar, but you got to start winning football games. The same applies to basketball. People are excited about the marketing aspect, but you also have to win games, and the turnaround has to be a lot quicker than the football program's expected, Phil.
I'm waiting for Dave Van Horn to do a photo with a player that's like, you know, be like a famous photo of Bo Jackson breaking a bat over your knee. If I could see Dave Van Horn break a bat over his knee, man, I'd pay $100 to see that. We'll come back. We got some Get Off My Lawn to finish up halftime, so stick around.
You're listening to Halftime.
Harry Robinson Buick GMC has over 200 pre-owned vehicles to choose from luxury to economy and everything in between, including over 50 great vehicles with payments under $250 a month, certain to fit your needs and your budget. And at Harry Robinson Buick GMC, you always get more for your trade. 50 vehicles with payments under $250 a month at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off I-540 in Fort Smith.
Littleton's Paintless Dent Repair is your one-stop shop for all repairs. Paintless Dent Repair, door dings, unsightly dents, and hail damage repair, all repaired to like new conditions. With over 1 million repaired vehicles with satisfied customers, Michael Littleton is the expert in paintless repair. Littleton's Paintless Dent Repair, conveniently located 3 miles from the Arcoma exit off Highway 112. Or call 479-461-9764. Your #1 Arkansas fan.
Have you been thinking about new windows or vinyl siding for your home? Then think Superior Siding and Windows. Superior Siding and Windows has been offering low-maintenance, energy-efficient products in the River Valley for over 40 years. Superior Siding and Windows also specializes in sunrooms, patio covers for carports, and much more. Call 646-7888 for a free in-home estimate. Superior Siding and Windows, 646-7888. Superior Siding and Windows. Look for us in the Yellow Pages and like us on Facebook.
Right now, you can save up to $5,000 off on select in-ground pools at Burton Pools and Spas. Hi, Tommy Kraft here. Now is the perfect time to start planning your own backyard oasis for next summer so you can relax and enjoy the lazy days poolside next year with family and friends. It's the perfect way to unwind after work or do a staycation. And don't make that long trip this next summer. Vacation in your own backyard. Burton Pools and Spas also has luxury spas, grills, and patio furniture that will complete your outdoor living space. So don't wait. Right now is the time. Save up to $5,000 on select in-ground pools, including saltwater models. It's all at Burton Pools and Spas. This special deal is first come, first served. Stop in their store in Fort Smith and in Springdale for all the details. Fall is the perfect time to start working on your in-ground pool with Burton Pools and Spas in Fort Smith and in Springdale and online at burtonpools.com. Burton Pools and Spas, your source for backyard fun.
True Grit Running Company is where perseverance meets passion. Whether you're training for your next marathon or just comfortable shoes to keep up with your kids, we have the gear to help you reach your goals. With our slow motion gait analysis and our extensive product knowledge, we have the right pair of shoes for you. We also carry apparel, nutrition, hydration accessories, injury prevention gear, and recovery products. We offer classes, workshops, and group runs. Lace up, show up, and get your grit on. True Grit Running Company, 6808 Rogers Avenue, Suite B, behind Chick-fil-A.
Hi, I'm Kelly Smith, owner of Dixie Digital Imaging, the Xerox authorized agency and dealer in the River Valley. The 29 new models of Xerox business printers and copiers represent a quantum leap forward in office technology. They are designed for the way we work today, safely and securely. They're powered by Xerox Connect Key technology. They're innovative and affordable with both black and white and color devices available. For more information, give Dixie Digital a call at 783-6600 or visit us at dixiedigital.com. Dixie Digital Imaging, bringing Xerox document innovations to the River Valley.
I'm Lisa Hinton, owner of Champ Hinton Enterprises. For nearly 50 years, the Champ Hinton name has stood for one thing: selling quality cars in a different way, taking the mumbo jumbo out of the process and making customers happy. All these years and tens of thousands of cars later, we're still here, doing business the way Champ Hinton taught us, selling to generations of families who've become part of our family. Champ Hinton Enterprises, the area's premier used car dealer. Take the Arcoma exit off I-540 or go online at champhinton.com.
ESPN 95.3. Touchdown! Halftime is brought to you by Supercuts, who supports local teams. Supercuts. We're super into the movement.
Yeah, they got it going on.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Deep middle, wide open. Jarius Wright trying to get his balance. If he can, he might take it. Breaks the tackle, down the sideline, got a block, and he's in. Touchdown, Arkansas.
All right, time to wrap up the show as we have moved our segments around a little bit with the makeup of the show changing just slightly. So we usually do this at 1 o'clock, but we're moving it to 1:45. So, folks, yes, it's time to get off my lawn.
Get off my lawn. Listen, old man. Do not your what? Announce my presence with authority.
Perhaps I could be of some assistance.
The old man.
Get off my lawn. Presented by Breeden RV and Power Sports.
Breeden RV and Power Sports is having their year-end clearance sale right now. You'll get a great deal on a new RV. Check out the travel trailers that start at $99.95, fifth wheels that start under $30,000. Breeden RV, of course, the only dealer that gives new customers maintenance for life for free. Plus a great selection of pre-camp trailers and RVs to choose from. That's Breeden RV in Van Buren. BreedenRVs.com to check out the inventory. So I'll start here. The Penn State Nittany Lions having themselves a nice season with 5 wins, no losses, ranked 10th going into their matchup at number 17 Iowa on Saturday. But nobody's really talking about the game right now. Penn State does get themselves their share of controversy, and this time it's thanks to a fan who sent a letter to one of the Penn State players. Now, this was the letter was screenshotted and tweeted by C.J. Holmes, but it was written to Nittany Lions safety Jonathan Sutherland, who is a redshirt sophomore from Ottawa, Ontario, and he's also an African-American, but he's African-Canadian, and he has pretty lengthy dreadlocks. So I'm going to read this letter word for word. It comes from a fellow named Dave Peterson, who signs his name at the bottom of the letter so everybody knows who wrote it. Dear Jonathan, he writes, my wife and I are proud older graduates of Penn State. We follow all Penn State sports, football, wrestling, volleyball, gymnastics, basketball. And by the way, Penn State has more than those 5 sports. We love it all, he says. I played all the sports in my younger days, still played full-court basketball into my 50s. Love the competition, but never had the size or talent to reach your level, though the desire was there. It's a bunch of blah, blah, blah. He goes on to say, though the athletes of today are certainly superior to those in my days, we miss the clean-cut young men and women from those days. Watching the Idaho game on TV, we couldn't help but notice your, awful hair. Surely there must be mirrors in the locker room. Don't you have parents or girlfriend who've told you those shoulder-length dreadlocks look disgusting and are certainly not attractive? Mr. Peterson continues, we congratulate you on your game against Pitt, but you need to remember you represent all Penn Staters, both current and those alumni from years past. We would welcome the reappearance of dress codes for athletes. He goes on to say that you will certainly be playing, quote, on Sunday, unquote, in the future, but we have stopped watching the NFL due to the disgusting tattoos, awful hair, and immature antics in the end zone. Players should act as though they've been there before he signs for the glory, Dave Peterson. So there's a lot to unlock here. Dave Peterson, I wonder if he hates all the tattoos and long hair or just the tattoos and long hair on black kids. Because there's other kids on that team that have shoulder-length hair, including Penn State kicker Jordan Stout. But Stout's white, so he didn't get a letter. Paul Posluszny, who's one of the all-time great linebackers at Linebacker U, had shoulder-length hair, but he's also white. And I wonder if Mr. Peterson had a problem with him, or if Mr. Peterson has an issue with Trevor Lawrence's hair, or all the giant beards from white guys in Major League Baseball and the NFL. Here's the thing. If you complain about athletes wearing dreadlocks and you're comparing them to, quote, clean-cut kids, then you might have some racist tendencies. I bet you Mr. Peterson was a major apologist for Joe Paterno, rambling on about tradition and legacy during that time and the We Are Penn State crap. This guy has written letters to the editor that we saw on Twitter earlier this morning, blasting tattoos and piercings as the type of, quote, perverse behavior, unquote, which is, in his word, the dominion of drug gangs and prisoners. He blasted education about Muslim holidays in one of these letters to the editors and stated in one of these letters that anyone under the age of 6 shouldn't be allowed into a restaurant and that babies shouldn't be allowed to board an airplane. So here's the thing. I don't think Mr. Peterson is just racist. I think he truly seems to hate anybody who's not his age or isn't, quote unquote, clean cut, whatever that means, which includes kids, babies, and their parents. This, to me, Ty, is a perfect example of an old man shouting at clouds. So, Dave Peterson, I'm not the only person to say this today, and I hope Penn State does something about it. Now, it's not a matter of free speech, but this guy's got to get off our freaking lawn.
It's the most fired up you've been in a while, Phil. Man, just coming at it. And, I mean, I think everything you just came out of your mouth is absolutely correct. So I don't know if he'd like me, though, since I grow my hair out pretty good. But
he'd have an issue with your hair, too, Ty. Just don't get any tattoos that he can see openly.
Yeah. So it's one of those things.
Have you paid attention to the fact that it's like how many professional and not professional college athletes have tattoos?
Yeah. And
Tons of them have tattoos.
And I think the point that you could hit on the hardest, if this is the Penn State old-time apologist. I mean, you didn't even get into what was going on during the Joe Paterno years, and I guarantee, and I don't know this 100%, but I guarantee this guy's a big fan and would stick up for him every chance he got. So there's so many moral flaws and moral arguments that are just incorrect here that this guy's trying to go at. And look, I get it. There's certain settings that you're not supposed to have long hair. Like I always joked with my buddy who is a former roommate of mine. He had to shave every day. and he couldn't grow his hair out. And I was like, because he's in the financial sector. And I know there's some listening right now that there's certain stipulations where you have to look a certain way, you have to dress a certain way, and that. And I get that. College football is not one of those fields, Phil. You're allowed to express yourself. Yes, there might be some old-time coaches that have certain rules and stipulations, which is fine as long as they're not based on racist tendencies. But the fact that there's I'm guessing a lot of Penn State players that have long hair, they grow their beard out or have tattoos, just doesn't make any sense, man. There's times where I'll stick up for the older crowd, the older generation, which is a lot of our listeners. And if you've listened to the show, you know that I tend to shy away from a lot of my generation's line of thinking, their tendencies and stuff like that. But in this situation, this just seems like a flawed argument in so many different ways.
Fire Chud tweeted to me, wants me to shave the neck beard. Can I tell him to get off he just wants my neck beard off my face instead of off my lawn.
Oh, man. So
I hate shaving. Not going to go there.
So mine's a little more nonsensical. I don't know if you saw the Marcus Morris highlight where he bunks Justin Anderson on the head in a preseason game. Did you catch that by chance?
So when I'm thinking of, I didn't see this. When somebody bonks someone on the head, that means he threw the ball at his head on purpose.
Oh, but he kept it. So he almost got elbow swiped. So he's ripping through just like a normal basketball motion. He looks like he tries to elbow Anderson in the face, but that can be misconstrued because sometimes you're just trying to clear a path and make room to either pass or shoot the basketball. And then Marcus Morris goes on to hold on to the basketball and bang it on Justin Anderson's head. Just bang it on his head. Talking about Marcus Morris, the former Jayhawk. Justin Anderson played for Tony Bennett in Virginia. And it really set the tone for the preseason. He was ejected. And you know what? If this was like the Knicks and Celtics or the Lakers and Celtics or a rivalry, but it's the Wizards and the Knicks. Like there's no animosity between these two basketball franchises. And
what are you talking about? The kids at the Wizards are angry they didn't re-sign Bobby Portis, and then he went to the Knicks. That's what's bringing this anger out.
I guess. And Bobby, I don't know, for those who follow Bobby on social media, he's talked about the mentality that he has to have and the whole Knicks organization has to have as underdogs. Well, what Marcus is doing is kind of bringing back the Pat Riley, the 90s Knicks, where the old school, protect the garden. No one is coming here and disrespecting us.
You're going to need to let Charles Oakley back in the building for that to be the case.
Exactly. That's on James Dolan. And he also said, we ain't taking no or any fill in the blank, so it is what it is. So Marcus Morris is telling not only Justin Anderson, but the entire NBA, the Knicks, no one should be trampling on them, and they deserve respect, even though they're probably not going to be any good this year. So he is letting the NBA know to get off his lawn.
Let me say that maybe you don't have to take any crap, but you're going to have to take your share of L's, Marcus Morris. So it's just going to be a little bit difficult to handle. By the way, I just wanted to finish one thing on this Penn State letter. A funny piece on the Twitter thread that from Penn State teammate Antonio Shelton, who's the one who posted the letter initially. Penn State's official school Twitter account gets on there and says, quote, while we don't know the source of this letter or the authenticity, obviously its content does not align with our values, unquote. And the next tweet underneath it is, well, he signed his name on the letter, so there's your answer. I guess they're thinking nobody would really sign their name to a letter like that.
I mean, he has his beliefs and stuff. That doesn't necessarily make them right. I mean, there's a lot of people that have beliefs about different things over the years, and that doesn't make them right. But, yeah, I think if you intentionally sign your name, that makes it authentic. But who knows? It could just be a troll film. You know, this day and age, you just never know.
That's true. I don't think I would imagine that this guy doesn't have a Twitter page,
a social media you can look up.
Yeah, probably not.
There's a lot of older
got
gents.
A rotary phone.
What about Facebook? There's more people getting on Facebook. Older people getting on Facebook. So check him out on Facebook, I guess.
I bet you he uses that Jitterbug phone. You remember those commercials for the Jitterbug phone with the giant buttons so that you could actually see them and push them? Because you probably see 3 buttons there. Anyway, the guy needs to get off a lot of people's lawns and stop shouting at clouds. Appreciate you tuning in on this Tuesday to halftime. For Ty, I'm Phil. Be with you tomorrow. Get up, get out, and get better.
Great camping.